A verse-by-verse study in the Book of Philippians, ESV, with Irv Risch. Survey of Philippians. Book type, Pauline epistles, also one of 4 prison epistles, 11th book of the New Testament. Author, Paul and Timothy are named as the authors in Philippians 1 verse 1. Paul is traditionally considered the primary author. Audience, Philippians is written to a group of believers with whom Paul founded a church, during his second missionary journey in approximately AD 49, Acts 16. Philippi was a Roman colony, with believers consisting primarily of Gentiles. This group had donated support to Paul, financially and otherwise, at least 3 times prior to this letter, Philippians 4 verse 16. They had also delivered another gift through Epaphroditus. This letter, written about 12 years after the founding of the Philippian church, is largely a thank you letter to the Philippians, and as a result is mostly positive. However, because Paul wrote this letter during a time of house arrest in Rome, it includes the major theme of rejoicing during suffering. Paul personally identified with those who suffer. He had sympathy for the suffering of Philippian believers, and gives much encouragement to help them during times of hardship. Paul also speaks against those who preached out of personal ambition, Philippians 2 verses 3-4, Philippians 1 verses 15-18, and various false teachers, Philippians 3. Date, approximately AD 60-62, during Paul's first Roman imprisonment. Overview. The focus of the Book of Philippians is the proper Christian attitude during times of suffering. Specifically, this is an attitude of rejoicing. Paul encourages believers to rejoice despite suffering, Philippians 1, rejoice through humble service, Philippians 2, focus on Christ during hard times, Philippians 3, and depend on Christ's strength when struggling, Philippians 4. Chapter 1 includes a brief introduction, Philippians 1 verses 1-2, followed by 3 key sections. First, Paul gives thanks and prayer on behalf of the Philippian Christians, Philippians 1 verses 3-11. Second, he focuses on the expansion of the gospel, Philippians 1 verses 12-18. Third, he emphasizes to live is Christ and to die is gain, Philippians 1 verses 19-30. Chapter 2 emphasizes the theme of rejoicing during times of suffering. First, Paul gives Christ's own example of humility, Philippians 2 verses 1-11. Second, he emphasizes believers as lights in a world of darkness, Philippians 2 verses 12-18. Third, he gives instructions regarding fellow Christian workers Timothy and Epaphroditus, Philippians 2 verses 19-30. Chapter 3 speaks about Christ as the focus during suffering. First, Paul discusses the importance of righteousness through faith in Christ rather than by works, Philippians 3 verses 1-11. Second, Paul talks about straining toward the goal of following Christ, Philippians 3 verses 12-21. Chapter 4 speaks of Christ's strength in times of suffering. This includes prayers and encouragement, Philippians 4 verses 1-9, and a focus on God's provision, Philippians 4 verses 10-20, followed by a short conclusion, Philippians 4 verses 21-23. Key verses, ESV. Philippians 1 verse 21, For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Philippians 2 verse 8, And being found in human form, Jesus Christ, humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. Philippians 3 verse 7, But whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ. Philippians 4 verse 4, Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say, rejoice. Philippians 4 verses 6-7, Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. End of the survey of Philippians. Please note. The material use in this video is from BibleRef.com, which is from Got Questions Ministries and is posted here to be read by immersive reader in the Edge browser. If you copy this material, please follow these rules. Content from BibleRef.com may not be used for any commercial purposes, or as part of any commercial work, without explicit prior written consent from Got Questions Ministries. Any use of our material should be properly credited. Please make it clear the content is from BibleRef.com. BibleRef.com content may not be altered, modified, or otherwise changed unless such changes are specifically noted.